In the mist-covered hills of Lancashire, a single accusation would ignite a wave of terror. 10 people would be hanged, not for murder, not for theft, but for witchcraft. And as fear spread through the villages, no one, not women, not men, not even children, would be safe. Lancashire, England, a land of rolling hills, dense forests, and villages wrapped in perpetual mist. Life was hard, crops were uncertain, livestock fragile, and survival depended on community and faith. But here, in this seemingly tranquil countryside, a darker force lurked. Fear. Fear of witches. Fear of curses. Fear that evil walked among the innocent. And soon, that fear would consume the villages entirely. Pendle Hill itself loomed like a silent guardian, or perhaps a silent witness. The slopes were steep, blanketed in mist, and dotted with gnarled trees. Villagers lived in scattered hamlets, their lives dictated by the seasons. A failed harvest could mean starvation. An illness in the livestock could destroy months of labor. In such fragile communities, superstition thrived. Every misfortune had a cause. Every unexplained event whispered of malevolent hands. A cow dying in the field? Witchcraft? A sudden fever? Witchcraft? A crop blighted overnight? Witchcraft? It was a world where fear was as tangible as rain, and suspicion could be deadly. The spark that would ignite the terror came in the form of Alison Device, a young woman of ordinary life. One morning, she had a disagreement with a neighbor, a petty quarrel over a small debt. But in these villages, every word could carry weight far beyond its meaning. Alison was accused of witchcraft. "Your words curse us all," her neighbor cried. And so, the ordinary became extraordinary, in the worst possible sense. The accusation spread like wildfire. Neighbors whispered. Children pointed fingers. Families divided. Suddenly, one person's life became the focus of suspicion, paranoia, and terror. Fear is contagious. Once the first accusation is made, others follow. Old grudges resurfaced. Disputes long forgotten were dredged up as evidence. Illness, bad luck, or a missing animal could now be attributed to Alison and her associates. By spring of 1612, 12 people were formally accused. Women, men, even children. The village trembled under the weight of suspicion. Authorities arrived, bringing chains, handcuffs, and an air of grim authority. Homes were searched. Possessions were confiscated. The accused were dragged from their homes under the foggy moonlight. The villagers watched, afraid of being next. Every shadow seemed to hide a witness. Every whisper could lead to accusation. The prisoners were taken to Lancaster Castle, looming over the town. Inside, cells were dark, damp, and silent, only the occasional whisper breaking the heavy gloom. Inside the castle, fear took on a physical form. Rats scuttled across the stone floors. Prisoners whispered to each other in desperation. Some laughed, not with joy, but madness creeping in. Some prayed fervently. Some stared silently at the walls, retreating into themselves. Even without physical cruelty, the prison exacted a psychological toll. And it was in this darkness that confessions, coerced or genuine, would begin. Lancaster Castle's courtroom became the stage where superstition became law. Magistrates presided. Scribes recorded each word. Villagers crowded in, eager to witness justice or vengeance. Evidence was strange and subjective. A neighbor claimed to have seen witches flying through the night. Children testified about curses on families or animals. Accidents, a stumble, a sudden death, a sick animal were twisted into proof of sorcery. Truth mattered little. Fear alone was enough to condemn. Prisoners faced interrogation. Some confessed, speaking of pacts with the devil and magical acts. Others denied everything, but the terror in their eyes was interpreted as guilt. Children were also called to testify. Their words, innocent or influenced by hysteria, carried deadly weight. The testimonies were enough to seal the fate of the accused. By August 1612, 10 of the accused were sentenced to death. Not for theft, not for murder, but for witchcraft. The villagers lined the streets. Torches flickered in the night. The condemned walked toward the gallows, silent or muttering prayers. The ropes were adjusted. The executioner's hand was steady, and one by one, 10 lives ended, consumed by fear, superstition, and hysteria. The hangings did not end the fear. Families mourned in silence. Villagers whispered about curses and ghosts. Children grew up hearing the terrifying story, passing it along to the next generation. Pendle Hill itself seemed changed. Mist hung heavier over the slopes. Shadows stretched longer. Some villagers claimed they could hear whispers on the wind, the voices of the hanged witches still trapped in the hills. The Pendle witches are remembered as victims of mass hysteria. Fear can override reason. Superstition can destroy communities. In moments of panic, innocence becomes irrelevant. The Pendle witches were ordinary people, condemned not because of what they did, but because of the fear others had of them. Pendle Hill remains a place of legend and mystery. Visitors report strange noises, shadows, and sudden chills. Some claim to see ghostly figures drifting across the slopes. Some say the hill itself seems alive with the memory of what happened in 1612. Whispers in the wind are said to carry warnings, a reminder that darkness can persist long after the mortal world has moved on. Pendle Hill still rises. Mist drifts over its slopes. Shadows linger in the trees. Some say the spirits of the hanged witches walk the hill at night. Some feel sudden chills, whispers, and the weight of history pressing down. The witches of Pendle Hill were executed over 400 years ago, but their story remains. A story of fear, cruelty, and the darkness that lives in human hearts. History never forgets, and neither should we.